Well, good morning. So I'm pretty excited about my bees here. So this last year, I have two beehives here, two top bar hives, and both of these were empty this last year. Had a little bit of mishap the year before, and I didn't restock them. Well, this morning I went and got one, they call these a bee bus, a package of bees, and I'm going to install them into this hive here in a few minutes, and I'm just going to record this so that I remember what it's like, but also share this with all of you. So let me just I'll bring this bee bus a little bit closer. So it's hard to see through the contrast, but you can probably hear them in here, and if we get close enough, you can see their little legs. They want to get out. But on the top, you see that circle? There's a can of sugar water in there. And then inside of here, there's also a queen bee and a whole lot of worker bees. So I'm going to install them in this hive over here, which involves opening up the bar and letting them go in. All right, well, let's get started. All right, so the first thing I need to do here, I'm not going to put my suit on quite yet, but I'm going to put these bees aside. There we go. Oh, almost lost them here. I'm going to take the lid off. Oops. Oh. All right, so you can see here we have a whole bunch of bars. Let me get my tool. So I have a few very basic tools. I've got the bee brush. I can brush the bees. And then I've got the hive tool. This is just a metal thing that I can use to pry things off. So I can pry this off right here. Let's have a look. All right. So I've got a bunch of comb from the previous colony that was in there, and want to save have a bit of comb there for the bees to get at. So what I'm going to do is the very front of the hive, I'm going to put these empty bars in, because that's where I want the bees to kind of draw their own comb to basically make it their home. And then a few bars in here, I'm going to provide this empty comb that was left by the previous occupants. And the point of that is to give the new bees a place to, it's essentially their sleeping bag, and give them a spot where they can hang out in the first few days when it's cold. So I'm going to put this in here. Oh yeah, and then the other thing we have is we've got this false back. So a false back is just a board. Just a board that basically is a divider, and that keeps the bees in the front half until they're established. And then I take this out, and then they have full run of the whole thing. But for the first few days, we're just gonna kind of force them to stay in this one area. So what I'm going to do next, let's get the bee box out. The bee bus. All right. So what I'm going to do in a few minutes is I'm going to open up one of these doors and just shake them out into here. But to do that, I need to give them some room that they can go into. So I'm gonna, let's see if this is wide enough. I'll do one more. All right, so that should give them enough space to go in. All right, so now that I'm gonna start messing with them, I think I'll suit up. I'll at least put this on. Okay, I cleaned out this hive last week or 2 weeks ago. Basically just scraped out a bunch of the leftover stuff. So about a year ago, when this colony died, there was a bunch of still honey and stuff in here. So then an event happened, which we call robbing, which was bees from other hives within the neighborhood came. And of course, because they're robbers, they just kind of open up the comb and pull out the honey, and they don't bother cleaning up the wax. Whereas if this was really your home, you'd clean up the wax. So I had to clean up the wax because the robbers didn't do it. Okay. So the first thing, I guess we got to decide which door we're going to open here. So let's open this door. And all I'm doing is hopefully this door doesn't pop open all the way on its own. Because once there's an opening, they're out of here. So, of course, I don't do this. This is only the second time I've opened a box like this. Okay, so that's good to go. Now the next thing we're going to do is take out the feeder. That's this, essentially it's a tin can with sugar water. All right. So, next step, hopefully I can do it quickly. So I'm going to take this can out, and then a bunch of bees are going to start coming out. They're going to be curious. Then I'm going to open this up, dump them into there, and then I'm going to pull out the queen. The queen is in her own cage. Oh, it looks like they're coming up. The queen is in her own cage, and I need to string her up inside this thing. So here we go. Let's just get some bar ready here. Okay, here goes nothing. It is kind of fun though. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. There's going to be bees attached to the bottom of it. Ooh, this is a big box. Big tin. There we go. So you can see they put a hole in that tin can where the bees are feeding. So I'm just going to lay this here. Okay, let's have a look. Look, loads of them in there. Haha. And they all want out now. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. You can hear them buzzing. And now, watch this. I'm going to give it a whack and they'll all fall in and it'll be really loud. Ready? Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, go! And then, so most of them are in there now. The rest of them I just put here by the front entrance and they can walk in. Let me show you what this is like. Look at them all in there. Isn't that cool? All right, so there's a whole ball. Oh, I need to get the queen out of here. I forgot about that. Okay, so the bees are there. You don't want to squish them. Okay. So, of course, they want to be where the queen is, so a bunch of them haven't left. So I'm going to reach in here. And she's in this cage. Ooh! Check that out. Okay, they're starting to fan. All right, so what I need to do is brush them off of here. Let's see, you can even see her running around in there if you look carefully. But we need to hang this up on a bar. So I've got this really thin wire. I'm going to hang her up, and that allows us to feed her, allows the bees, the worker bees, to feed her. So I'm going to put this through here, making sure not to impale the queen, because that would be bad. Oh, this isn't working. The nice thing is, go away. Oh, that's good enough. Okay. So we got that. Let's get another bar. This might be kind of hard to do with gloves. All right. I'm just asking for it now. That's all right. They're not really mad at me yet. So I'm going to tie this on. So today's Saturday. So on Sunday, I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to let her out of this cage. Okay, so that's good enough. That's on there. You get my gloves on again. All right. Hopefully none crawled in there. That would be unfortunate. Okay. So these bee cages are interesting because they have a cap, but inside this cap, at the end of this cap, is a tube, and the tube has this, they call it candy, it's like some sugar thing in there. And after a couple days, the bees keep eating away at it, and they free her if I haven't let her out sooner. So what we're going to do, we need to close up the hive here. So, but I don't want to squish them. Okay. There we go. And then, actually, I should have put the queen there. I want her closer to the front. Okay. Here we go. There we go, Your Highness. She's in there. She's in there. Okay, now we got to close this thing up. Oh, I think we're going to put one of these on either side of the queen. So there we go. Put one in here. That way she can start laying eggs right in that existing comb. Let's get one here. Oh, we've got too much. Well, it doesn't matter. It's got pollen, but it also has space. Okay. And then, oh, why isn't this closed? So I need to adjust this a bit. Get the handy dandy hive tool. And what we should see them doing is fanning pretty soon, which means they stick their butts up in the air and fan out a bunch of air saying, hey, the queen's in here. So, okay. Let's see if I can get the last one in there. Okay, here we go. All right. So that's closed. So tomorrow I will come back. Although what we're going to do yet before tomorrow is there's all these bees flying around. I'm going to move the camera here and show you. But basically, I need to give them all day to get back, to get into the hive. So let's move over here. All right. So the queen's in there. And I'm going to zoom in a bit, but there's a bunch of bees here that are fanning. So that means they stick their butt up in the air and they're pushing the air, basically the scent or the pheromone of the queen. They're pushing it from inside and they're pushing it out so that all their fellow sisters will know where to come if they're loose, and then they'll fly in here. So now they're going to get oriented today. So I'm going to allow them to crawl in. So I'm going to not put the cap on until probably after sundown tonight, or until things have settled down. So let me show you. There we go. You can see a bunch of bees there, and if you go closer, you might be able to see the fanning. Some of them are definitely fanning. So I think this was a very successful bee installation. This is probably the quickest one I've done so far, or the most painless one, and it sure is nice. I am really excited to have bees back in the hood. So welcome here, bees. It is kind of fun to have them back, to hear them, and I'm looking forward to seeing them all on our plants and our flowers. It's been a long time, and I'm glad they're back.